Yes, well, as we get older and older, I'm 77 right now. You can't live forever, you know. So if procedure I'm going to have to clean the blood doesn't work, then I've got probably a few more months to make it before my kidneys shut down, you know. So that's kind of why I'm kind of going along with the interview at this time.
You're seeing that what you went through is just too important for people not to know about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you just, can we start at the beginning with your military career and just walk through what exactly your experiences were?
I was drafted into the military and got into the U.S. Army. After that, I was sent to the Signal Training Center in eastern United States.
What year would this be?
58. I went through the Signal Training course. And at that time, I went through the radio teletype course and also the cryptography course, crypto. They had 5 instructors that were getting out of military service. So they pulled the top 5 students, and I was 3rd in the class. So I got pulled as an instructor.
Now, were you at this time also working yet for CIA?
No.
Not yet?
No. After one day, my boss came to me, and he said, how would you like to, make some extra money? And I said, oh, money is good.
In the world, all UFOs are misidentifications, hoaxes.
Balloons.
Yes, psychological issues, whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
So my boss came to me and he says, we've both got a new assignment. And he says, oh, I said, where are we going? Oh, he says, we're going to the Capitol. We're going to be part of the Eisenhower push. He's trying to find out something all about these aliens that MJ-12 was supposed to find out, but never sent back reports to him.
The MJ-12, the UFO control group, were they calling it MJ-12
yes.
at that time?
Yes. They called us in, went into the Oval Office, and President Eisenhower was there and Nixon, and they said, we called the people in from MJ-12, from Area 51 and S4, but they told us that the government had no jurisdiction over what they were doing. So being a past general, you didn't tell them to go to hell without any real good reason, Mm-hmm. So he said, I want you and your boss to fly out there. I want you to give them a personal message. And he says, I want you to tell them, whoever is in charge, tell them that to get in, they have this coming week, to get into Washington and to report to me. And if they don't, I'm going to get the 1st Army from Colorado, and we're going to go over, we're going to take the base over. I don't care what kind of classified material you got. We're going to rip this thing apart.
Eisenhower was going to invade
yes,
Area 51.
Yeah, with the 1st Army.
Well, a need-to-know basis is an executive order written during the Eisenhower era, right after the created 1954 treaty, and is treasonous and illegal in this country and should be overturned and abolished.
So you go out with your superior.
Yes.
You fly out you land, what happens? Can you describe this whole process, what you saw?
It took us the 13 or 15 miles south to S4, had like different garage door openings.
Okay.
And in these garage door openings, they had like different saucer crafts. The very first one had the Roswell craft in. It was kind of crashed up, but apparently every alien that was in it died except for a couple.
So you see the Roswell craft, and what are some of the others that you see?
Well, the Roswell craft was really strange because it looked like real heavy aluminum foil. We could rock next to it, and you could rock it. The whole thing probably weighed 150, 300 pounds.
Could they tell what the source of power was of this craft?
Yeah, it was like a river's gravitational thing of some kind.
It comes ahead of the release next month of a highly anticipated military report on what the Pentagon calls unidentified aerial phenomena. The man who posted the footage is documentary filmmaker Jeremy Corbell. He joins me now. Jeremy, good evening. The footage is incredible. And retired NASA astronaut Scott Kelly told CNN last week he thinks it's sort of an optical illusion, quote, maybe combined with some military flight tests of some unnamed unmanned aerial vehicles. What do you say to that? What do you say to skeptics?
No, that's a data-poor perspective, unfortunately, and we have such a data-rich environment at this time about UFOs, which are unidentified. And as you said yourself, the Pentagon has confirmed the footage that I have obtained and released.
For the last several days, neighbors in and around Stone Oak have been trying to solve a mystery. Residents there are reporting a mysterious noise they're hearing late at night. Some describing it as an explosion, random fireworks, or loud booms being heard in the late night hours. We asked KENS 5 reporter Alicia Nieves to see what she could find out. Alicia?
ECs have been working on this all day, been making a lot of calls to try and crack this case. Exactly what are neighbors hearing between 10 at night and 4:30 in the morning?
Able to track down the noise, neighbors went to next door to find answers. One resident writes, "Does anyone hear the thunder-like noises coming from close to Oak Meadow?" Several respond yes, saying it sounds like blasting, fireworks, or booms. So we started digging. First, we looked at a map of the area to see if there was any obvious location that could be making a racket that was keeping neighbors up at night. We started with Camp Bullis, thinking maybe they were running late-night drills.
This is Alicia Nieves calling with KENS 5.
But a quick call to Joint Base San Antonio, they let us know they're not making a peep after dark. Then our attention turned to nearby quarries. Stone Oak is sandwiched between two of them. We called the owner of both, and we're waiting to hear back. There's another quarry just west, down 1604. They told us they stopped working at 5 p.m. and don't start again until 6:30 in the morning. We did check with San Antonio Fire and Police to see if they've investigated any reports. Fire officials said no. We're waiting to hear back from police.
So we've done a lot of digging, but we still have not solved this noisy mystery. We're going to stay on this. If you think you believe you know what this sound could be, just shoot me an email, anieves@kens5.com.
Roughly about a year before, notice the date. All those blackouts, and there's more. I didn't put them all. Military to jam GPS signal across the East Coast through January 24th, asserting imminent domain seizure of night vision devices from distributors. So they did this a year beforehand, then we had all these blackouts. Added up. Okay. Army spending $500 million to train soldiers to fight underground. This is back in 2018. Some of you fuckers go, oh, that's what they always do. Just fucking listen and watch and add all this shit up together. I'm still not 100% about this fucking guy, what he's doing, but get the fuck out. He's giving you a hint. Remember what I said about the abbreviations? Elon Musk calls coronavirus panic dumb. Is he throwing you a bone? Or to somebody? Dumb. Deep underground military bases. He also owns the Boring Company. He digs the fuck underground. Remember all that shit with him digging the high-speed railways and whatever was on the news? He's throwing you a bone or something. March 7th, 2020. Add it up. This is what I was just talking about. The Boring Company. American Infrastructure and Tunnel Construction Services, founded by Elon Musk. Now, what do you say in that tweet? Coronavirus panic is dumb. Deep underground military bases. Owns the Boring Company. He's trying to give you a hint.
Right now, there are 131 active deep underground military bases in the United States. There's 1,477 of them worldwide. Each one has an average cost of $17 to $19 billion. Each one is built in the site it used to be, it'd take a year to 2 years to build each one. And now they're capable of building a couple of them a year with sophisticated methods. My colleague, 𝐷𝐵𝐸𝐿𝐼, has actually been on some of the high-speed railways, the magneto-leviton trains that connect all the deep underground military bases within the United States. He's been on a Mach 2 train and floats off a single rail at a 3/4 of an inch off the rail, and is what you call high tech. We have nothing like this on the surface.
So the names that you just mentioned, Barack Obama, Steven Tyler, Joe Biden, Michelle Obama, have you had personal sexual experiences with these people?
Yes.
These people participated in sex abuse firsthand with you?
Yes.
Can you tell that story? Because that's important for people to understand and to know. And to this point, I don't think a national platform has given you the opportunity to say those things.
No, because everybody is complicit. Everybody is complicit. It is covered up by your local FBI. It is covered up by your local police department. It is underground tunnels. There's a whole world. It's a different way of life. There's every source of transportation. When I met Joe Biden, I was rushed through many celebrities. Half of them I did not know. It didn't faze me to see them. It didn't. Some of them were actually very conceited and cocky that I didn't know who they were. Underground, under the Getty Museum in Los Angeles, there are many tunnels. Again, there's a way of transportation. There's every single way of transportation under the ground. I was sold to Joe Biden. Multiple times. Sometimes people don't talk about it, because when you don't talk about it, it makes it okay. When you don't talk about it, it makes you bury it. When you don't talk about it, it's easier and it kills that part of you. I was sold for blowjobs. I was sold for sex. There is many people who trade to eat, beat, and rape children under the ground. I have many friends that I've lost, and I have many people that I've met that didn't make it, that refer to me as a traitor.
And that's because they're still dealing with this right now to this day.
Yes, there are millions just like me. There are millions worse off than me. There are millions that people cut off their limbs so they don't fight them back when they rape them. There are millions that they take pleasure in draining their blood and using it as a source of a fountain of youth.
Groom Lake is where the infamous Area 51, S4, S2, a CIA base, it was originally a bombing range, a nuclear test site. It was later become the most secret base in the United States. It employs over 18,000 workers who work in shifts of 12 hours at a whack. Most of them working in cover of darkness, like us. We built out 9 underground military bases there, each with an average capacity capable of basically a city underground, roughly 4.25 cubic miles hollowed out underground. They have boring machines, for instance. They don't bore, they literally vitrify and melt the rock, deflagrate the rock. It's a very sophisticated laser melting and deflagrating system. It reduces the rock to a powder and then melts the remaining rock as a coating on the inside of the base, so you don't have to use gunite cements and other kinds of things like that. That's all old hat now. Technology is just basically the new technology we get is the old hat of the military. Anyway, after we drilled all 4 holes, it's about 2 days to drill all 4 of them. And when you build an underground base, you drill 4 basic holes, and you build called stopes or cross-member holes across, and you use blasting equipment, special blasting equipment by the analyzation of the rock formation, and you literally blast out or tunnel out or deflagrate or melt rock out to build the large rooms that are required for this underground base. I was involved in building another base inside of Dulce, New Mexico, which is Los Alamos Laboratory. It's a biological laboratory. On the southwest part of the Archuleta Mesa, we built an underground facility, a better part of 3 cubic miles hollowed out underground. Then to the southwest of that, we were in the process of the early stages of building. We drilled 4 large tunnel-like holes. Some of them ran 2.5 miles under the surface. Number of the original wells or drilling machines that were used were at the rate of 2 miles a day. Area 51 is only one base, one of the 131 bases. Of these 131 bases, I call Area 51 a mega base. It's got more than one base in it. It's Tonopah Test Range, Area 51, S2, S4, Groom Lake, and a host of others. Now, these mega bases are gobbling up our gross national product. Right now we're spending 28% of the gross national product on building underground bases solely. That doesn't count for the defense budget. That doesn't count for the spare parts budget. It doesn't count for any of that at all. And the black budget is dead wrong. It sidesteps the United States Congress and its Constitution of its people and says you're a bunch of morons you don't need to know. Well, a need-to-know basis is an executive order written during the Eisenhower era right after the created 1954 treaty and is treasonous and illegal in this country and should be overturned and abolished. All this alien thing is fine, except for one thing. Alien takeover is a serious threat. Kept totally out of the public view, off the surface, I'm sure the underground bases, without question, are being used as a place to house alien takeover. Alien takeover means the implementation of a one-world government. Okay, September 8th, 2020. Military continues child rescue out of underground tunnels across the globe. This is global. Tortured, malnourished children and corpses in the tens of thousands have been found in a sophisticated network of deep underground military bases. Now listen, D.U.M.B.S for abbreviation. That ran beneath U.S., Canada, Mexico, Australia, from what I understand was one of the worst, Asia, and across Europe. For over a year, Special Forces have been training for the rescue missions, which began October 16, 2019. Ironically, when was Event 201? October 18, 2019. For people who don't know, Event 201 was the rehearsal of the pandemic. You can look it up. It's called Event 201. It's a global pandemic exercise, a simulation of infectious diseases. They had a rehearsal October 18th, 2019. Over 2,100 caged babies and children beneath the China Lake Navy facility in California. Put it together, people. Children were held in cages for human experiments. What were all that shit they were saying about Fauci over there in Ukraine and whatnot? He was experimenting on puppies and doing all kinds of fucking sinister shit. Organ harvesting. Same thing they were doing with Planned Parenthood. You see all those people getting drunk in the bars and spilling the beans about selling organs and whatnot. Mind control, sexual exploitation, adrenochrome production. Look at all these celebrities that are doing this. They even are using body parts from baby kids' reproductive organs for facial cream, anti-aging. Sandra Bullock was on Ellen DeGeneres and they were talking about it.
And I want to thank you all for being here as we mark the 20th anniversary of Trafficking Victims Protection Act. Very important. 20 years ago, this nation took a historic step to protect the victims of this form of modern-day slavery here in the United States and all around the world. My administration is 100% committed to eradicating human trafficking from the earth. And I'm especially grateful to Ivanka for her unwavering efforts. She has taken this under her wing. Thank you very much. Thank you, honey.
So here's something that I haven't spoken about probably in the last month or two, but as you are seeing these mystery booms being heard in the skies across the globe have continued. They've never stopped. And so I was sent an email from a viewer who also heard these mystery sky rumblings or hums relating to this newest developing story out of San Antonio, Texas. For any of you who are new, or even if you've been with me forever, I promise you will not remember all of the cases and videos that I have done that surround the mystery boom phenomenon. But if you head over to my main channel page and you open up the search bar there and just type in booms, mystery sky noises, you will get a list of past videos I've done on this subject. And it's not just occurring in one specific area, one specific country or point in the sky or in space. This is a global phenomenon heard in our skies, almost as if there's a diesel truck cloaked in the sky above your house, to the point where it not only annoys you all day, but it rattles your windows and your doors and your furniture, and the local police don't know what it is. Local military bases have no idea what's happening, and it's just a total mystery. So did any of you guys in this area hear this or capture footage, or have you had your own encounter with these sounds? Send me an email, and if you have footage of it, upload that footage to YouTube and then email me the link to that video so I can download it and analyze it. Next, also sent in by a viewer, and he says in his email, quote, "I'm from Arizona, and from the time I've spent here, I've never seen anything like this. I managed to grab a picture from my iPhone while driving, and right before the sun was about to go down. Any ideas on what it can be?" And so a beautiful photo taken from his phone here, still shot. And while I'm looking at this and I saw it, a lot of people send in really cool shots of clouds, as in this picture. If not for the beauty alone, we have this awesome view of the Arizona skies after the sun has gone down. And then we have this almost saucer-shaped cloud here right at the end with this beautiful baby blue glow to it. And then what struck me was this massive trail, you could say, coming off or trailing off of this saucer-shaped cloud, and it's, both of them are this very, very light baby blue color, and, just beautiful. And to me, it looks like one of the traditional metallic flying saucer, Bob Lazar sport model like UFOs passing through the sky, blazing a trail behind it. And so I want to say thanks to the viewer who sent that in. And if you watch my last video, you'll know that when it comes to the clouds, looks can certainly be deceiving, because not everything is a cloud, as seen from the footage in my last video. So go and check that out if you haven't yet, where we show some pretty amazing footage reminiscent of that new UFO horror film Nope. And today I even have some more footage of what appear to be unknown objects that are in our skies masquerading as clouds, but that move differently than any of the other surrounding clouds in the sky. And so here is another clip of yet another one of these single clouds caught in the sky. And, as you watch it, maybe you guys can tell me just what it was that gave away the fact that this cloud wasn't blending in well with the rest of its buddies. All right, so yeah, like I said, just because you can't see it or you can't get it on video, it doesn't mean that it's not there.
In this video, it's going to explain, I don't know why a lot of people think whether it be the government, another alien race, on why things can't be invisible, like that's some kind of fucking magic. It's going to explain how the human eye has rods and cones. Light is basically a wavelength reflecting off a surface. Certain wavelengths get absorbed, certain wavelengths reflect. And that, depending on the wavelength, size, will be blue or red or green. And we can only see variations and combinations of the primary colors because that's all our eyes are designed to decode. So all you have to do is change, it's a wavelength, all you have to do is change that frequency to something that our eyes cannot see, detect. Like infrared, like on your remote, it's going to show you in here. Do it yourself, because your phone can see infrared, the camera on your phone. Your eyeball can't. Point it towards your eyeball, hit the button on an infrared remote. You won't see nothing. Put it in front of your camera, you can see it. Does that mean the light's not there because you can't see it? Your eyes mechanically can't pick up that frequency. There could be shit all over the government, whatever. There could be shit everywhere. I'm not saying there is. I'm just saying. There could be shit flying around in the sky. All they have to do is change the frequency, basically bend light, which is a frequency, to something that your eyes mechanically can't see, just like your radio. You turn it to a certain frequency, you can listen to that, but you can't hear the other ones because you're tuned into that frequency. You understand what I'm saying? Watch the video. Use your head. That's all.
The human eye has 3 types of cone photoreceptors: blue, red and green. The other colors that humans perceive, like yellow, purple, or the color of the absence of objective purpose of life, are just a combination of those 3 main ones. But what about other colors that humans can't see? Do they even exist? And if so, what would everything look like? Light. It is made up of photons and waves. At the same time, also time doesn't exist from its perspective. More on that in this video. Light can be of different wavelengths. From radio waves the size of football fields, to gamma rays the size of atomic nuclei. Meanwhile, the human eye can see only this small fraction, called the visible light. Everything else is just invisible to humans. You can make an experiment yourself, right now. Take your TV remote, and look at its front, through a phone camera. Press any buttons on the remote, and the LED will start to glow, but only on the camera. This happens because the light emitted by the TV remote is in infrared wavelengths. The human eye can't see it, however the camera allows a small fraction of the infrared light to pass. Why did the human eyes evolve to see only visible light though? It is because of our sun. It shines mainly in the visible light spectrum. If it were more prominent in X-ray light, we would have evolved to see X-ray. Therefore, the answer is yes. There are a lot of colors that humans can't see. So let's hypothetically assume that you could perceive absolutely all the wavelengths of light at the same time. How would the world look? Take shrooms for a close approximation. Just kidding, do not. First of all, you'd probably go insane. Everything that is warm or hot will be glowing. When you turn in your microwave, it would glow too. You would see lots of waves coming to and from your phone. Oh, and also Wi-Fi. Everything would be covered in weird radio rainbows. Radio towers would be pretty much lighthouses. And the sky, because of the stars, it would always glow. You could also use uranium ores as lamps, although I do not highly recommend it. This is a shrimp. A mantis shrimp. It is really badass. Apart from the fact that they can throw a punch with the acceleration of a bullet, they also have 16 photoreceptors, compared to ours 3. That's hell of a lot more colors. That allows them to see ultraviolet, polarized and visible light. They can also perceive depth with each individual eye. But what if I told you that you can see colors that are in reality not possible. These are called impossible colors, and they come in pairs of green and red, yellow and blue, and white and black. But you may ask, why are these impossible? Isn't yellow and blue, green, red and green, some kind of brown, and white and black, gray? The cells responsible for processing the electrical signals from the cones are called opponent neurons. There are two types of them, red, green and blue, yellow. They can only receive only one color. So when you look at something red, the green receptors are inhibited. Alternatively, when you look at something green, the red ones are inhibited. And that is why you can't perceive a red, green or blue, yellow color. But you actually can. If you look at a part red, part green image for long enough, your photoreceptors will go batshit. So here's the experiment. Take a look at this image, and look in the center, without moving your eyes, for around a minute. The colors should blend together to form an impossible color. Try it, pause now. Also try this one, although it's a bit harder. It works for around 7 out of 10 people. If it didn't work for you, I'm sorry, your eyes are broken. Also look at these cool illusions. Look at the first square for around 10 seconds and then switch to the second one. After all, it might be a bit sad that humans do not have 16 photoreceptors, like the mantis shrimp, but at least you have something else, like the brain, or the internet, or Witcher.
I know. Focus for a minute.
Sometimes there are cloaked objects that we cannot see, totally invisible, even to infrared. Some that give off sounds, and others that masquerade as other things, natural things in our skies, such as clouds passing by in the sky. And the next piece of UFO footage I'm going to show you directly correlates with that. So let's get to it. So I got an email from a guy named Doug, and he says, "Hello, Tyler. You showed a craft about 2 weeks ago, I believe, and I think I captured a similar object in Minnesota prior to that sighting. I have been an experiencer since 1992, and as of 2021, I started recording this phenomenon that seems to follow me around." And so, big thanks to the viewer Doug, who sent me a video, actually a couple of videos that he recorded with the same infrared camera that I actually have. And it's called the Psionics Aurora Pro. What I have is the Explorer Edition. It's the most pricey, but it allows you to record not only in infrared, but in color infrared, as opposed to green only. So, he was recording the night sky, and he captured a couple of strange objects moving through the sky. And he wanted my opinion, and when I looked at the footage, I thought, okay, this could be something, but some of the other stuff in the footage, I definitely was unsure about. So he's filming the stars here, and right at the 1 minute mark, something passes by in the darkness, being recorded in the infrared spectrum, which we are not visually capable of seeing with our own eyes. Okay, so what do you guys think of that? Here's some enhanced and color-corrected analysis here to try to bring this triangular-shaped formation or object out of the darkness here. This is pretty spooky. And, you know, it's kind of hard to see at first, but it passes right over his house to the right very quickly by the infrared sensor. Whatever the thing was, it definitely got his attention as he tries to adjust the camera and capture it. And so now we're going to fast forward in the footage, and the second unknown object that passes by has created a little bit more controversy on the YouTube video of it, from people believing it's this or that. And before we get to that, here is the clip which occurs at the 1 minute 43 second mark, where he describes a, quote, huge triangle craft can be seen passing by from left to right. So here it is. And so the viewer who sent this in, I remind you, he said he's been an experiencer of UFOs and, feeling that unknown things in the sky are around him at times, sometimes cloaked, other times not. Or in this case, what he described as a strange transparent-like object passing by on the camera with lights. It was reflective. And some of you, for this object in particular, you may think, some of you, that this is a flock of birds or geese. And, that was obviously one of my first possible thoughts. But I don't know for sure because I wasn't there, and the footage doesn't show geese. It shows an object that holds its shape basically the entire time. And what intrigues me about it is that if this were a flock of birds or geese, I would expect to see more movement in the video. It almost looks as if something is passing by that may be attempting to mimic a flock of birds or geese or something like that. But the way it moves very still at a very steady pace without slowing or increasing speed. It almost looks like something partially cloaked that may be mimicking something else. Heading over to his YouTube video on this, one viewer stated that the video was a bit freaky because he had seen something almost identical the night before, and that the object he saw was, quote, absolutely huge, and it was V-shaped, but it did not change shape at all, and was absolutely silent, which is exactly what is seen in the video that I'm looping over here for you. The guy who emailed me said that he's been around geese all of his life, and that geese do not fly in that much of a tight formation. And he would have heard them, for starters, which he didn't. Not at all. Dead silent. It looks to be moving like a solid object. It's just something's off with this footage. Tell me what you think down below in the comments, and much thanks to Doug. And I'm glad you like that Psionics camera. And I'll put the Amazon link to that down below as well. So the next viewer submitted UFO footage was emailed to me by a viewer named Garrett. He says, quote, I came across your YouTube vids and decided to send you my videos of an orb that I caught above my backyard. I live in South Louisiana. The UFO was not a plane or a satellite or a planet.
There's another one. Sorry, this is an iPhone 8 or 9. And there was another one. There's just a light there in the sky.
She still hasn't talked about locking up anyone committing any crimes.
I don't know why that's so important to you.
This just in. Protecting our families from criminals is not important to Democrats like Kathy Hochul and Josh Riley. Josh Riley said he was honored to be on the front lines with groups who...
All right, guys, post your comment down below. People who record these things, typically they will know what the sky looks like in their area from night to night. They'll know where the planets usually appear, where the stars appear, and things of that nature. And the viewer who submitted this said that this was not one of them. Beautiful dog. Dog looks totally perplexed. Love that dog. Love that shot of him just staring at you at the end. But yeah, there are hundreds, if not thousands, maybe millions of these little white orbs. Yeah, little glowing pinpoint dots that are so high up in the atmosphere, you would not even know that they're there unless you just picked a random spot and start zooming in where, maybe you'll get lucky. And one of these mysterious static, they're static in the sky. They're not moving whatsoever. And it's just like they're sitting there locked in place. And I just love these types of videos because, yeah, we may not have any detail, but some of these types of footage are the most eerie out of all of them. So far away that you wouldn't even know it's there had you not seen it. And then detecting a second one, or a third. So big thanks for sending this over. And lastly, today, I want to show you guys a photo that was sent to me via email by viewer Ronald. Really cool little pic here. And he asked in his email, could this be one of the infamous Tic Tac UFOs that we've heard so much about from Commander Fravor and, other fighter pilots and yet seem to have no footage of at all? But I digress. He says, I took this photo of this cloud, and when I loaded it onto my PC, I noticed this little white Tic Tac shaped UFO. It was taken with my Galaxy Note 10 Plus, but he said he didn't see it. Tell me what you guys think. Wish we had some video or other pics, but sometimes some of the coolest stuff you'll capture on photo or video without even knowing it, and there definitely seems to be a Tic Tac shaped object caught passing by above.